Hey guys, One here. I'm gonna do like a kind of a hodgepodge video here, trying to answer a bunch of questions that people have asked me over the last week or so. Somebody wanted to see what the M4 with this handguard looks like with an AFG on there. I fully agree that the M4, the G36, the Masada, those style guns all look better with an AFG than a vertical grip. I prefer the way a vertical grip feels in my hand, but this isn't bad. I can definitely run with an AFG. So I put the AFG on my M4. Hopefully you can see there what you want to see. It definitely looks better in my opinion. I also ordered my flip mount for this finally, so hopefully that'll show up pretty soon. Another question I had was someone wanted to know if I had any ideas about how to remove a stripped screw head. Let's say, for example, that this screw was stripped out enough to where I couldn't get a hold of it anymore with an Allen head. The first thing I would try to do is use either a slightly bigger Allen head, Allen wrench, or a flathead screwdriver. One that is just barely too big, and you might have to grind it down a little bit, like with a Dremel tool or whatever, to make it fit in there, but just big enough so that it won't quite fit in there. So you get it on there crosswise, and then just tap it in, trying to sink this thing into the metal itself. And then when you do, if you get it locked in there good enough, you can usually twist it to the left, and back it out or whatever. If that doesn't work and you actually need to drill out the screw, you can either get a drill bit that's just a little bit smaller than the actual screw size itself and just drill all the way down in there, and that'll usually help you get it out. Another thing you can do, probably the best way to do it, would be to get an easy out. The way an easy out works is it'll tell you what size drill bit to use with it. So you'll basically drill a hole down the center of the screw with whatever bit that is. When you get that hole in there, you'll take the easy out and you'll put it in there, and you'll just basically turn it counterclockwise. It'll be like partially threaded, it'll have big, thick, heavy threads on it. Those are going to bite into the metal as you're turning it counterclockwise. And once it seats itself enough, what it's going to do, instead of digging into the metal more, is it's actually going to break that screw free and back it out, basically because you're going the way that the screw would normally back out. I don't have an easy out, so I can't show you full on how to do it, but that gives you the basic gist of how to do it. The last thing I know of for sure that somebody wanted to know about was, he said his WM4 mags weren't locking the bolt back. The first thing I would check is make sure you got this little tab up. Okay, this little tab is what locks the bolt, and there's this lever right here. If you slide that back, you'll notice that that tab disappears. That's basically so that you can fire the gun without ammo and still get it to cycle properly. So make sure it's forward. If it's forward, that little tab should be up. If it's forward and you don't see that tab, you're gonna have to take the mag apart. It's pretty easy to do. Basically, just slide the bottom plate off, and there's that screw right there. Just back that screw out. It's a little tiny Phillips head screw right there. Then the mag itself will slide up and out of the shell. When you do that, make sure you have these parts in it. There should be two of them here that act as the together to catch the bolt. If it's there, there's some reason, but there's not showing. My guess is going to be that this tab. Let's see if you can see this tab. This tab. I set my flathead down somewhere. I don't know where it is. You can kind of see it. This little tab follows the BBs, and when it gets so high, it actually pushes on this guy, which lifts it up, pushes down here, and that actually raises this lever. So my guess is if you got these pieces, that little tab is broke off. If it's broke off, you're going to have to buy a new one to replace it. I suppose you could set a, drill a little hole and set with epoxy a little pin in there, but in all honesty, these things are dirt cheap, so I would just buy a new one. Well, I got it to this stage though. If you want to get a few more rounds out of your WM4 mag, it's a real easy mod to do. You just take off all 5 of these screws here, and if you have an open bolt, if you have a closed bolt, you can just take that one screw off the top, and then you're feeding your BB feeder, follower, and spring will all come out together. But if not, if it's an open bolt, pull these 5 screws off, and in the bottom here there'll be a loose piece of plastic. It's just a spacer. It's like a 1/2 inch spacer. Pull that out. Sorry about that. Put everything back together and it'll now hold like 38, 39 rounds, which is what like a standard WA mag holds even. So a little bit of way there to get a few more rounds out of your WE M4 mag. One other thing I wanted to touch on is about this backstrap and it leaking so bad. If you're not very confident, I wouldn't do this, but this is probably the best way I found to fix these things. I kept experimenting. I actually used some JB Weld and put that both on the mag itself and on this backstrap, all on this where they meet up together, and sucked it down really, really tight. So now with JB Weld in there, there's no reason it should ever leak there. One of the other mags I had to do it like 3 or 4 times. I'd find where there was a little leak, so I'd sand it down so I had something to grab onto again, and then just put a thin coat on there. You got to keep it really, really thin, or your shell won't fit back over it. It's a pretty tight fit, but as long as you don't build up too much, it should be fine. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I hope that answers your questions.